Welcome back, Saints Nation. I am your host, Patrick Smoke Chambers, and joined by me is Codito from the Saints League ACAD squad. And we have a night of League ECAC playoffs round one. We got St. Clair League ACAD going up against Purdue Varsity. Codito, immediately, just some opening thoughts on the matchup. You guys are both 5-2 heading into this. What are you kind of feeling? What are the nerves like from the team?
We don't really have any nerves. They're a good team, but we're also a really good team as well. We've played them a few times throughout the last year and a half, and both times it was a close series, so we're confident this can go our way.
Absolutely, and technically out of the two, your team is actually in better form, if you could say that. I know that they have a stacked group, but at the same time, you guys have won 3 series in a row coming off of this. The team feels hot. Right now, what would you say, even just throughout the season, is the best thing that you and your guys excel at doing?
All season, we've got better at just playing together. So, obviously, throughout a season, you get better at everything, but I would say mainly we're much better at playing together now. Every call is followed by all 5 people. So that's what's given us a lot of wins strung together coming into the end of the season.
Absolutely. And just tonight, again, this is your first time on stream. I'm assuming that there's maybe a little bit of head pressure in the back at least, but at the same time, you guys are going to kill it, in my opinion. I think you guys will take this series. I hope you guys think you will as well. But that being said, one last thing to kind of finalize this all out. When the going gets tough sometimes, right, and you guys are down or coming from behind, right, what are some mental strategies that you guys usually do together, whether it's just team talks, what are said in those, or do you guys have any sort of in-game or pre-game rituals before getting into a matchup like this?
Everything is just planning. So if we get behind, we still know our objectives going in. Sometimes they may change based on, if we can't fight something, we just won't fight it. We're all pretty level-headed players, and we know our game plan, and we just stick to that. So that's all.
Absolutely. Well, that's all I need to hear from you, sir. Go enjoy your series. Play good. I know you will, Codito. And now, kicking it to your casters for some pregame analysis.
Welcome to the casting desk of the St. Clair broadcast. I'm Ricky LaFleur, joined by my friend Commodus, and we're here to cast some great League of Legends gameplay, hopefully, tonight.
Oh, absolutely, It's been a while since we had the Academy team on the broadcast here, First time they've actually played on the stage here, so I'm hoping for some magic.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see these guys play for sure. Good friends with all these guys. I see them around all the time. Excited to see what they can do coming up against a big powerhouse in their league, as Purdue is. Both teams coming 5-2 in this league leading into playoffs, so it's going to be a pretty even matchup, you'd think, on paper.
I would say St. Clair is not, I would say slight underdogs coming into this, but we're going to go into also the starting lineup here for St. Clair here with Nagin in the top lane, Bad Rick Grimes in the jungle, Codito in the middle, Grey Gorilla and Vincenzo in the bot lane here. What players here really grab your eye here, Ricky, for I would say either as a team or individual skill well?
Definitely you heard it from Codito. He's definitely probably one of the most outgoing players on their team. Definitely look towards him to be more of a leader in their team in this series. Another person I'd like to highlight is Grey Gorilla. Haven't seen him playing recently. Interesting to see him back. You see him there on the cameras. Be exciting to see what he's able to do tonight, as I've formerly played with Grey Gorilla, as he was called up to Varsity a few times, I believe, in the past. So definitely excited to see him back on the stage playing. Rick Grimes, historically really good in solo queues, so excited to see what he's able to pull out tonight. Picks-wise, not really sure what they're leaning towards. I haven't really followed the Academy drafts too much.
We haven't really seen them streamed or played, right? So it was just more of also an intro for us as well.
Yeah,
definitely.
A
first date in a way.
Yeah, it's more of an introductory for all of us here. Nguyen, I think, in the top lane, I know a little bit of what he plays. He plays a similar play style to what I play, but he also plays the Jace. So definitely look out to see. You might see Jace ban being prioritized. You might also see
a carry option in the top lane there.
Yeah, definitely one of the more powerful picks coming out for the side of St. Clair Academy. Another thing you would like to look out for if you're St. Clair Academy is the Darius. I see Rick Grimes playing the Darius in the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
Although it was nerfed on the patch, people still play it. So definitely something I would look out for.
Might be a target ban that we might see early in the grant. If they've done their scouting and done their pre-gaming. But also I like how he started, like how he stated in the interview, saying like we started getting a lot better as a team, like hitting a lot of smaller things, like you hit like a broad thing, but also like how they said they're getting better, like they're following the comms as 5, as a team, which also led them into winning 3 straight before playoffs.
Yeah, so in League of Legends, obviously communication is key. I mean, obviously skill gap is a thing still, just like in any esport. But when it comes to League of Legends, if you are at like an even point in the game, it's always going to come down to communication, especially when it comes to objective fights like the Baron setup.
The rotations.
Yep, the Acadeny especially. This is something that a lot of bad teams will force and end up getting punished for and losing games where they, in theory, should be winning. Like 8,000 gold leads I've seen thrown just because they take objectives.
Just
at
a
the wrong
bad
time.
objective at a wrong time, right?
Yeah.
And not also not playing toward their advantages, wherever their gold lead or wherever their priority is around the map, right? As well.
Yeah, especially you don't really see as often anymore in League of Legends like the team fight oriented comps. Like for the most part, you see like teams drafting out like side lane orientated champions. Like in the mid lane, you'll see the Ari come out, champions that are proficient in the side lane, able to push out the waves without getting punished too hard.
Or safe picks.
Yeah, the more safe options, not for like safe team fighting, but more for safe side laning. Because that's the most important aspect of the game, I'd say, especially in competitive play, is being able to have your waves pushed before you make a move on the map.
Well, also this also comes down to also probably how the meta is now with the changes with this season, with how like the boots and the all those early advantages you can get, and really comes down to whoever either the team that gives the least and takes the most early game really gets to kind of snowball. A lot easier nowadays than it was last season.
Yeah, the snowball effect, and teams have really just gotten better over time at snowballing games. As you see, Coach Lane in the frame right now, trying to get everyone locked in on the same page, as everyone looks to be focused on the same thing. So hopefully they're going over some strategies. Looking forward to what they're going to pick this game.
Let's hope it's not a blue screen.
Yeah, I would. That would be the worst case scenario. But it seems they're talking over something important.
They're locked in. Either this must be the most important draft of their careers, right?
True. I mean, it's playoffs. It is playoffs.
Yes, that is true. Yeah.
So, coming into this best of 3, what are your expectations coming out of St. Clair? Do you expect them to win this series?
If I was a betting man, no. I would say the series probably goes 2-1. I do think St. Clair's will be able to at least take a map off.
Yeah, I mean...
But I don't think... I think with their varsity lineup, I think they're just a tiny bit better, and probably also played... They probably played together last year as well. Like, a lot of varsity teams don't go through a complete, like, shake-up halfway through the year.
That's true, yeah. Purdue, definitely a strong team in the ECAC league. I know that some of our players are returning from last year. Not all of that team is the same as it was last year, but most of them are returning from last semester. So this team does have some experience together. I do know that our academy team went to a LAN together, so I'm not sure if Purdue's team has ever been to a LAN, experienced that or not, but they have enough experience behind their belt that I'm a bit of a betting man myself.
Okay, you going on the under?
I like a little bit of
on
an
the
underdog.
under?
I like an underdog, so I'm going to take St. Clair Academy team here. I'm not going to call for the sweep. The sweep would be disrespectful, But, like, if it happened, I wouldn't be surprised.
You know what? We'll be surprised here at the desk here if it's a 2-0.
But you heard it from me first. 2-1 for the St. Clair
Even
Academy
repping
team.
the jacket, too.
Yes, sir. You know me. I got to rep the Saints. I'm on the varsity team, I got to support the boys. Even if they're the underdogs, I'm still going to root for them, Coming into this draft, I hope that they don't do anything, like, off meta, like too crazy. I hope they just stick to what's like normal for teams to pick.
What they
meta.
practiced, what they've scribbled
Yeah.
with as well, right? Because a lot of times I've seen a lot of teams, either in Valorant or even League of Legends, any of these champ-based games or ECAC, right? I see a lot of teams get in their own head, like on stage. Like they'll have like a plan before, like a week prior. They practice all week, and they're like, "Oh, but I saw this new thing," and they try to force it, and then honestly, it can backfire pretty quickly, and you're just sitting there like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, definitely you don't want to be first timing champions in the playoffs. But fortunately for the St. Clair team, I believe this format of playoffs doesn't include the fearless draft, which means they don't have to pick unique champions every single game.
Mhm.
So if they pick say Cassante top lane and it doesn't get banned the second game, they can just pick it again,
Yeah.
which is, I would say, a benefit for the St. Clair roster. But then again, I'm not too familiar with the Purdue roster, so maybe they have some one tricks of their own.
Well, if they do one trick, I really hope they have like also a backup just in case, right? Because one check of the U.GG and then
Yeah,
you get kind of cooked for the rest of the game if you get target banned like that.
Yeah, most people will have like a couple backups. They'll be known for one champion, and then they'll play like two other champions that they're pretty good at, and then they'll be just terrible at everything else.
The other thing is also like different play styles. Like, yeah, I know a lot of people have quote unquote different champions, but they all kind of have this similar play style or similar ways they want to win lane. Do you think it speaks to volumes for a player that they can also play like different types of lane styles?
I mean, yeah, if you are an adaptive player, obviously it's always going to be a benefit to your team. Whether or not you are able to adapt, like through picking champions, through play style, through rotating for your team, sacking your lane. I mean, obviously all these are benefits, but sometimes it could also lead to mistakes. So the best players use that effectively in their gameplay, and that's what you want to look for in a player.
Oh, absolutely. Because I've seen a lot of players be like, oh, I only can play like, for instance, like the Dariuses of the top lane, and like they have to play like either like a full tank, and they just kind of like try to like kill their lane opponent in a way, which is like kind of as a tank, you're kind of that's not kind of how you want to fight, like win your lane. You just kind of want to stay back and play for more of the late game rotations.
Yeah, counterpick is definitely like one of the most important things for top lane, especially. Hopefully, we're going to be getting into draft here soon, but for now, I believe we are going to be sending it to a break. So we will be back soon with the draft in about 2 minutes, give or take.
Estimate. Don't go away.
So don't go away. We will be right back. And welcome back to the desk. It is I, Ricky LaFleur, still joined by Commodus, and we are looking forward to a big draft coming up. The first game of the ECAC playoffs between St. Clair Academy team and Purdue. What are you thinking for draft? Are you thinking any bands coming through?
Bands, I would probably say something. I think Nefari might probably be a first band out of either both teams because he is very strong right now, and whatever lane or role he's in right now.
Yeah, you see the Nefiri in the jungle as of this recent patch, as it just recently got reworked from being a mid laner / top laner / I don't even know where you would play it. Nobody plays
question
that.
mark.
Literally nobody played it. There's one person that plays it in high-low. His name's Ravy Demon. Shout out Ravy Demon. That's my goat. Other than that, like, nobody played it before this patch, and now all of a sudden it's like one of the most broken junglers on the patch.
Oh,
so
yeah.
definitely I would expect to see the Nefiri ban coming out of one of these teams.
Oh yeah. Well, other than Nefari, like I'm not too sure, but we're probably gonna see some like flex picks. At least for pick wise here, we're probably gonna see some flex picks. See how each of the teams are gonna try to approach the draft here. Either be like try to like force them to either commit into a play style, then probably respond back to either direct counters and hopefully win the game that way.
Yeah, I mean, like, champions that you'd like to see come out, like, if you see teams draft, like, a certain way, sometimes you pick certain champions, right? So, like, if you see a team draft stuff like Ash, like, Victor, like, low mobility carries, sometimes you'll just opt into just slamming the Jarvan, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Once they blow their flash, you just Jarvan ult them, and guess what? Your carries can't do anything. They're trapped. So, like, sometimes you'll just adapt your draft based on what you see. So hopefully St. Clair's able to adapt based on what they see. Sometimes it goes better than others.
Yeah, depending on which one side they start on, right, as well, with the drafts here. I just hope they don't kind of... the one thing I don't like seeing is like a lot of drafts where it's just like, oh, whatever's the highest win rate, and there's no thought behind it. They just pick whatever the highest number is, and you're sitting there like, what are you doing?
I mean, that's kind of the thought process behind the Nefiri pick, I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like one of the best champions on the patch, so people just pick it blind. Why not? One thing that I would say you would kind of expect to see both teams kind of keep their eyes open for is the champions that are flexible, like the Corki, like the champions like Volibear, champions that you could play multiple roles and you could pick early. Especially if you're blue side, you want to look for these champions because it leaves opportunity for later stuff to be picked in the draft where you can switch that champion from one role to a different role.
To get a better matchup.
Yeah, to get better matchups, keep your opponents on their toes, you know. And ultimately, that's like the secret behind draft is you want to kind of like pick your comfort champions while also throwing your opponents off, while also being able to flex the champions. As I believe we're going to be getting straight into the draft here as we have Purdue on the blue side, it looks like.
Yes.
And St. Clair Academy on the red side as we see the bands ripping out here on the screen.
Whew.
The Rumble, the Karthus already gone for the side of Purdue. The Volibear, one of the champions I mentioned, the flex picks, going to be banned out, along with the Syndra and the Gwen for St. Clair. And then the Zeri going to be the final ban. Anything surprising about these bans?
Nothing too surprising. The Syndra, I have a little question about. The Gwen, I'm not too sure. I don't know how good Gwen is right now, but we see... what's that? Sorry, not Corky. Gragas. Gragas picked. And the Udyr. Looks like they're going to target the jungle here as well. Well, you think that Gragas is probably going top lane or jungle? What do you think?
If I was a betting man, I would say, assuming they're picking based on their role, I would assume the Udyr is going top lane for the side of Purdue as the first pick. And then the Gragas for the side of St. Clair going top, as well as the Jungle Pantheon for St. Clair. Going to see the Jarvan for the side of Purdue going to be answered for the Pantheon, as well as the Victor coming out for Purdue.
And that's a response as well to the Victor ban there. Victor pick there. Looks like Purdue is opting for more of that control, but like also engage rundown type of comp here, and where St. Clair is looking for also a more of a kind of kind of aggressive in-your-face type of comp.
They got the dive comp going on there on the side of St. Clair. As we see the Ambessa being picked up for St. Clair, something that I want to mention is I talked to Codito before the game here. He's been playing a lot of the Ambessa. Maybe we will see the lethality Ambessa coming out here from the side of Codito. He swears that it's good. I mean, typically you'd see the Ambessa playing more of a bruiser style.
Off-tank type thing?
Yeah, you would be like building the Eclipse, the Spear of Shojin, and then like another bruiser type item like the Starax, but he likes to play a more of an assassin type.
Looks like St. Clair here with the last two bans targeting top lane here with hopefully getting a good matchup for the Gragas, I'm thinking now. Especially with Varus, Braum bot lane here. The comp's coming out here. The Poppy pick, I think, is actually going to find a lot of value here since a lot of St. Clair looks like just wants to jump on top of their carries and win that way.
Yeah, the top side of St. Clair definitely going to have a lot of diving and movement abilities that Poppy is going to be able to shut down. As we see the Ashe and the Poppy going to round out this team comp for the side of Purdue, aligned with the Aurora and Silas bans, targeting out the mid lane of Codito on the side of St. Clair. And we see, obviously, as you mentioned, the Renekton and Malphite bans definitely going to be targeting out the top laner of Purdue in Steve, a pretty good player. Somebody I would see in solo queue pretty often, to be honest. So someone I would definitely, that's a matchup I would definitely keep your eyes on, is the Steve Noggin matchup. Because if you see this Udyr start to get rolling, there's really nothing you can do on the Gragas. And this is not a good matchup for Gragas. I've played this matchup. It is not fun.
I'm going to say I think Purdue does have, I think, a better comp here. At least it wins the draft, in my opinion, here. Because it just forces the St. Clair to have to, like, they can't really force, if the Poppy's there, they can't really force an engage, you know? And that's kind of how they want to go here. And also, like you said, top lane, not a great matchup between there. Pantheon's going to fall off late game if they don't get their, get the kills rolling and get the gold on them.
Yeah, definitely Pantheon, more of an early game focused champion. But then again, so is the Jarvan. Like, although the Jarvan will still be able to get a little bit of value because the Varus going to be no movement abilities to get out of that ultimate. So if he burns his flash hastily, he's gonna probably pay for that. But the Braum Varus side for St. Clair, I like the bot lane coming out of the side of St. Clair. I think they have potential to win this lane. The Ashe and Poppy, even though Ashe is like a bit of a bully lane, Varus is also a very strong laner, and Braum is Braum is a very good match with Varus. So if they're able to combine those two components together, I think they'll be fine in this matchup. And to be honest, I don't even think the Jarvan's gonna be able to do anything about that. This bot lane is gonna be really easy for St. Clair in my opinion.
Yeah, I think St. Clair definitely has the better bot lane, but I think everything else is gonna be it's 50-50. Like whoever gets the first kill, it might just snowball out of the control that way, and hopefully St. Clair be able to nullify their mistakes early game, and hopefully, probably I think they have to win through the bot lane here, so I think that's the strongest on the map.
Definitely, I would agree. The bot lane of St. Clair is definitely going to be the strong point for them. The Varus, you'd like to see the Varus get rolling if you're St. Clair, because that's a champion that can really put the whole team on their back. Whereas if you're playing the Gragas and you start to get a couple kills, sure, you're going to be able to disrupt the team fight and you're going to be able to do a decent amount of burst damage, but you're not going to really be able to one-shot the whole team, especially if you're going to build like a bit tankier, because they don't really have a whole lot of tanks on the side of St. Clair. So you'll definitely expect the like more tanky build, the Rod of Ages type build, the Mana Crystal into the Fimbulwinter for the Gragas. The Ambessa, this is going to be a very volatile matchup in the mid lane. If the Victor gets his flash burned early game, the Ambessa can definitely look to force pressure onto this Victor.
You think we might see like probably the St. Clair's jungler probably forcing early ganks probably?
Definitely.
To force the Victor out and put Victor on the back pedal.
Yeah, definitely. I want to see early pressure coming out for the side of Rick Grimes in the mid lane and the bot lane. I would say stray away from the top lane if I'm St. Clair. Like, we have the bad matchup in the top lane. We just kind of have to rely on Nguyen to not fall too far behind. If he's down 20 CS and doesn't die once in this lane, that's overall a victory for St. Clair.
He did his job. He did his job.
He did more than his job, really. As we see the players on stage here, definitely locked in, as all these players have played on stage before, but it's not a familiar feeling for a lot of them, so...
Especially this season.
Yeah, not as many games being played together on stage. more or less they've been playing. They have been on stream a couple times, but I don't even know. I don't think they were on stage the last time they were on stream.
No.
So definitely a change of pace for them, as this match is going to be a little bit stressful for them, I think.
Oh, absolutely. You know, also it's being streamed, right? You know, like especially like you've been on stream on the stage a lot.
Oh, yeah, plenty.
I've gone a couple times. You know,
A
couple here and there.
Not to toot the horn.
I'm just
here.
saying my best games were happening on stage. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, I believe it, bro.
You know, that back, stage left, far PC. That's it. That's the PC.
That's the land of Commodus.
But yeah, no. So it looks like, as we said, St. Clair are going to try to win from the bottom here, try to get the mid lane going, and like you said, to hopefully, he said it's a volatile matchup there, and hopefully able to roll it in their favor, and then hopefully Nagin will hopefully be able to stay alive, not give as much as he can, play for the mid game, late game, and the rotations.
One thing I want to see from the side of St. Clair is what are we going to do level 1?
Mm-hmm.
Level 1's pretty important in League of Legends, and to be honest, judging on the comps, I think St. Clair's level 1 is a billion years better than the side of Purdue's.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to see them start by doing something like an invade, as we're going to get right into game here as Purdue on the blue side and St. Clair Academy on the red side. As we see both teams starting to opt for a more passive start, both going for the 5-point. Not really anything too crazy going on yet.
Yeah, no, it looks like I think they just don't want to they don't want to force anything. I don't think they want to make mistakes. I think they have their gameplay and probably for the level 3, level 2 around there, or at least the first camp. Maybe second game they might spice something up depending on how the first match goes here, but we'll see how they're gonna play out here.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see as lane swap, not really a big component anymore as they kind of removed that. So not something as great as a strategy as it once was, but the side of St. Clair, obviously going to start in the top side here if I'm bad Rick Grimes, because I want to be pathing bot lane. And the top side matchup, the Udyr into Gragas, is definitely one that is not favored for the Gragas. Going to be taking some punishment if you're new in.
Yeah, you gotta play the ranges. You gotta be like, give up some CS, give up maybe a couple of minions here and there, and try to zone them off because you don't want to force a fight into it.
Yeah, as you see,
like so.
Punishment coming in already as he drops the R passive, and Nguyen gonna lose half his HP here just to get the XP from the first 3 minions. Definitely not the best scenario, but kind of what you expected.
Just hope mentally it doesn't, oh jeez, take a lot of damage early. Has to use one of his pots early here, but you gotta just realize what you gotta do in that lane, right? You gotta be like, yeah, I'm gonna be losing this lane. I'm not gonna have priority. Just try not to die. Try not to give too much, right? But hopefully mentally he doesn't get him into that mental trap to where he's like, I have to do something.
Yeah.
And force a bad play or a bad fight.
Yeah, definitely going to see him hopefully playing on the more passive side, not forcing too many trades out, because if you get too low, the Jarvan might just come up there and dive you. But honestly, you see the Jarvan, he's pathing towards bot side, and the Gragas, he's got some built-in sustaining as well as the Udyr. He's got the passive. Every time he uses an ability, he can get a little bit of a heal. So he's going to be not doing too bad in the top lane after those trades.
Looks like both junglers opting, like you said, to either focus around mid or bot lane here, pathing down. Probably going to see some crazy stuff here once they clear up their last camp here on Krugs and Gromp here.
Be interesting to see what St. Clair Academy's bot lane decides to do off this crashed wave here. I'd like to see them start to work towards getting Cryo on this wave here and hit this wave so they can help their jungler on this scuttle or potentially set up a fight on the bot lane here.
Yeah, no, looks like just a lot of posturing here, a lot of just wave clearing, nothing too much here. Getting some damage down on the Udyr, but Udyr then uses his ultimate there.
Yeah, as we see the bot lane scuttle going to be attacked by Rick Grimes here, but he's going to be matched by the side of the Purdue jungler on
Looks
the Jarvan.
like he has to give it.
Yeah, he's going to have to give this one up because, like I said, the bot lane of St. Clair opting to not push out that wave, not going to be able to move first, so...
Looks like they're just going to play passive. They're just going to give him the Krog there, and then also Ambassa also shoved in, so both lanes couldn't be possible rotations to that Scuttle fight there. And looks like he's just going to go grab 2 since he has the priority. St. Clair lowing a bit in gold, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, not the end of the world, but definitely not what you want to see if you're Rick Grimes, losing both Scuttle Crabs there, as the side of Purdue able to pick up both of them, as Jarvan gonna get a ward deep on the side of St. Clair's jungle, able to get that vision down before he gets his recall of off here, I'd assume. Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Newen gonna TP into the top lane, didn't realize that the Jarvan was in the area, gonna get stunned up by the Udyr, knocked up by the Jarvan, has to blow his summoners, gets the E off, able to get both the Jarvans and the Udyr off him. Well done by Newen there to get out, but risky teleport.
Very risky teleport. I guess he also didn't want the Udyr to probably freeze the wave to where he couldn't get any XP. I think he was just trying to back up the HP and then force it, and then hopefully have a better lane time. But the Jarvan was pathing up, right, getting both scuttles, and he was just there to punish that TP.
As we see the flash coming out from the side of the Purdue top laner, Steve gonna put the punishment onto the side of Newen as he's gonna draw the first blood for the side of Purdue.
Sadly, you know, blowing the TP there, he can't come back. He's probably going to lose another wave there. You know, it's just an unfortunate scenario for Nagin in the top lane.
Yeah, definitely not what you want to see if you're a fan of St. Clair, as the first blood, and look at the CS difference in the top lane. One of those matchups that we talked about pregame, not what you want to see as we see the replay coming in here. Udyr gonna get flash off, get the double R passive on him, stun him up in the R. Nothing you can do if you're Newen because you burned that flash earlier. You don't have that anymore.
Oh, we're coming back here though. St. Clair trading out kills to the bot lane, but St. Clair comes up on top. 2 kills onto the Varus. A good response from St. Clair.
Yeah, great stuff out of the side of the bot lane of St. Clair. Not the hot start we were expecting, but you know, able to put together some kills here, put a play together. They got a CS lead built now. And Grey Gorilla, 2 kills. That's the person you want to see fed if you are a St. Clair fan.
Absolutely, absolutely. Also with the, you know, also out farming the Ashe there, able to get another wave there. Bear's probably going to shove that in with the cannon and then be able to back. But here we go. Here's the replay of the last fight here. Just a lot of damage, probably. We didn't see a lot of the bot lane fights at the top thing, but like Varus getting the poke off, you know, looks like Poppy had to force an engage there, and then it was just, their HP was just too low there.
Yeah, those extended fights are always going to favor the bot lane of St. Clair.
They're roaming up though.
As we see the grub fight potentially going to break out here with the Braum roaming all the way up to the top lane. Going to throw down the Q. As Newen going to be forced to leave his wave in a really bad spot. As we're not seeing
why we're not
right
watching
now,
the fight?
as the Victor gonna have to back off
Jarvan's
after
low, though.
using all his abilities. Poppy gonna go forward with the dash, stuns up the Ambessa of St. Clair, as Udyr also gonna stun up the Braum. Braum gonna have to get away, but get it taken down by the side of Purdue. Steve coming up huge in this fight. 2 kills for the side
Absolutely.
of Udyr.
Tragedy coming from St. Clair here, you know. Varus is still bot lane, you know, but he's just there to get the farm there and trying to force something. A response, you know, taking the momentum after killing the bot lane there, thinking they could have maybe tried to find a pick on either the Jarvan or the top laner if they got over aggressive, but the Purdue just didn't give them anything and then gets them into this awkward scenario here where Poppy gets that nice stun on the Ambessa.
Yeah, Rick Grimes and Codito maybe committing a little too hard there to try and get the victor as they both blow their flash, trying to get this kill, but end up going down 2 for 0, and they end up losing the grubs. It's not good if you're St. Clair. I would have rather seen them give up that grubs, play for the dragon. As we see a fight coming out in the bot lane here, Ashe going to be forced to use that ult on the Brahmin to peel herself away. Going to be able to walk out pretty much unscathed. Use the ultimate, but able to walk away.
And I'll look at here at the CS totals. You know, looks like the only shining star right now for St. Clair is our bot lane, like we predicted earlier in the draft. But yeah, no, Ambessa, down a kill, down CS. Victor didn't get any kills, but 2 assists. That's still gold and XP in the back pocket, and also getting the wave control. Luckily, you know, Pantheon didn't die. He's able, but he's falling back. He's a bit behind on CS on his route there as well.
Yeah, the CS numbers, obviously, you remember they took the double scuttle on him earlier as the bot lane of St.
Looks like
Clair.
they're forcing the drag.
Looking to move on towards this dragon here, try to trade something back on the map here after losing that grubs fight. I think they're going to get this one. Although maybe Jarvan going to potentially steal this one away here. Not in time, but Purdue looking like they want to fight this. As the Jarvan EQs forward, drops the ulti. As the Brahms also there, gets a big ultimate off, but goes down. As 2 people go down for the side of St. Clair. The Braum and the Pantheon down. That's a 2 for 0 for the side of Purdue. As it's starting to break down for St. Clair.
You know, at least they get the dragon, but then losing 2 people there. You know, that Jarvan coming in EQ alt combo here to lock in the Braum. And then it's just Pantheon's just like, I gotta do something. Jumps back onto the on the Jarvan, but he's stunned because of the Poppy. You know, so there's just nothing he can do. Can't get the extra damage up to at least get something back there, like a kill back.
Yeah, the Cataclysm coming out into the Poppy stun. Able to lock up the side of St. Clair for 2 kills. Easy pickings for the victor. If you're side of St. Clair, you got to get something done around the bot side and get this bot lane steamrolling. Because you don't want to be on the back foot on every lane.
Yeah. Hopefully getting some turret plates on the Varus here, and then hopefully be able to break that bot tower and then start rotating to mid so Varus can then start impacting all, like, everything on the map there.
Steve able to use that buffer magnificently on the E there. Gonna stun up the Gragas as he pulls the E off. Not something Nguyen was probably expecting, but Steve being so proficient on this Udyr, able to pull off that solo kill with no problem.
Yeah, now Jarvan now has prio all over the Jarvan's topside jungle here. It's gonna put Pantheon farther back here. You know, the CS is now getting, like, the gap is now getting way bigger now the longer this game goes on.
As we see the gold lead blooming to 3,500 for the side of Purdue. Definitely a great early game coming out for them. See this Udyr still pushing forward onto Gragas as he's able to get a trade down. For that trade, it doesn't last. Udyr is able to heal that up no problem. If I'm Udyr, I'm recalling here anyways.
They're trying to force something here. Oh, Ambassador doesn't know. There's no ward. Goes down for the ward, but the Poppy's waiting for the stun. The Victor E comes out, doesn't get the Ambassador, but the Ambassador has to blow flash. Not something he's looking for.
Yeah, able to force out the flash there for the Ambessa. Very good from the side of the Poppy. Not being too fast to make that play. Waiting for the right moment when the Ambessa walked in. Didn't realize she was in trouble. As we see the Pantheon all coming in for Rick Grimes here. Trying to be a bit of a miss, unfortunately, as the Udyr kind of sensed it.
And Purdue's going to try to force up. Oh, Pantheon getting caught. Now the stun. Victor E. There's nothing he can do. You're stunned.
Yeah, Rick Grimes walking into the wrong neighborhood as Poppy going to flash forward on him. Just take him out instantly. With 3 people around him, no chance for Rick Grimes to live.
Looks like they're now putting bot lane to mid lane, hopefully to get something on the map. But yeah, Gragas just getting run down by Udyr. You know, it's just he's down 2 kills. He's down a lot of CS. He doesn't priority. The Pantheon ult misses, so they can't get the kill on the Udyr to get at least some shutdown gold for the bounty. And then the whole Purdue team just able to rotate top lane once they see that.
Sequence of good plays from the side of Purdue. As we see the Victor able to balloon this CS lead up a bit in the mid lane here. Going to be on about a 25 CS lead, 20 CS lead in the top lane as well. Bot lane CS lead not as big as it once was, as the side of Purdue also going to pick up a couple kills in these engages. Really, if you're St. Clair, you got to get something working here because there's not much really going your way right now.
Absolutely. You know, the bot lane's just kind of like behind all the rotations because Purdue just has so much presence around the map that they were able to just go and do what they want to do, where St. Clair has to basically react all the time.
Yeah, we see this matchup in the top lane becoming a bit of an issue for the side of St. Clair. This Gragas getting punished really hard for this pick. And bot lane, really not what we expected, as the side of Purdue able to consistently push them in. Really, I would have liked to have seen the bot lane of St. Clair play a bit more aggressive.
I think they're also very scared about the Jarvan presence as well. That's probably why they're so hesitant. Pantheon also not. Oh no, the Ambassador gonna get caught out once again. 1v4. There she goes, stun the wall. Fight coming in here. Stun at least onto the Jarvan. Can they get the Jarvan? The Jarvan E combo comes in, gets onto the Pantheon. Pantheon's gonna go down after the Z goes down, and that's another bad fight in their own jungle. Oh, they're actually gonna go for more with the 3 for nothing for Purdue, and St. Clair looking for any answers.
Yeah, as this Poppy is just eating up St. Clair everywhere on the map, as he's able to find the kill onto the Mbessa all the way the side of I believe that was the ADC on St. Clair. So Varus not able to output any damage in this fight at all, and then locks up the Braum, stops the dash again, and then throws him into the wall to secure a third kill in this fight, and now the Dragon for the side of Purdue.
And an Infernal Drake, so extra damage there. Not not the worst thing in the world, right? But a little extra damage doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
it doesn't hurt.
Definitely doesn't hurt. And if you're Purdue, honestly, just stopping the Dragon stack for St. Clair, denying any way back into this game is honestly the best case scenario. If you're St. Clair, you're down 7,000 gold at this point. Pretty much any fight you take is losing. As you see on the enemy team, some people are working one item, working on their second item, as nobody but the Pantheon on the side of St. Clair has one item. Oh, actually, the Mbessa does have her first item. But yeah, other than that, the side of St. Clair really weak right now.
Not exactly how they drew up, how they want to win this fight here, or win this game here. A lot of things just not happening. Pantheon not finding the early value that they wanted. At least the bot lane was doing pretty good at the beginning, but then it's just a slight mistake after a little mistake. They're able to get the Dragon, but like everything they take, they lose. Like they lose something as a reaction for Purdue.
Yeah, Purdue doing a really good job of punishing the mistakes made by the side of St. Clair, as a lot of these kills have been just mistakes being punished. As we see the trades coming out in the top lane, Nguyen going to be forced to use the ultimate, uses his flash as well. Still going to be able to live though.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe
Poppy's
that
there.
Poppy though.
As the Poppy gets it.
Gonna be able to secure that kill in the end.
Oh, but the Mbessa?
The ultimate coming out from Codito, but Victor going to be able to put down that electric magnetic field and stun up the Mbessa and walk his way out of there with the flash. Codito, obviously, props to him, trying to force a play as everything on the map going to shambles really for the side of St. Clair.
I know. I thought, I thought the Mbessa had enough. She thought she had enough damage, but it looks like the Victor stun coming out right there before the last combo there. Victor is just able to walk out. Close. Yeah,
maybe if she positioned those dashes a little better, she's able to avoid that field. As we're going to see the Herald being picked up for the side of Purdue. They're going to try and break open mid, I'd imagine, with this Herald. And once mid is broken open, the floodgates start to open if you're St. Clair.
The writing is on the wall.
Yeah. Unless, well, no, there's not really an unless in this scenario.
What's the line?
It's pretty rough. As we see a gank coming out bot lane from the side of Bad
Shutdown gold.
Gonna get the shutdown, yeah.
Is the shutdown gold the way for St. Clair to come back here, at least to even out the gold? Try to get those high value targets. Maybe hopefully they make a mistake because they think they're, oh, I can 1v2. Oh no.
Looks like Bad Rick Grimes gonna be collapsed on by the side of the Purdue top laner. The Udyr coming in with the Storm. Gonna start laying down the DPS as Pantheon used that ability on the cap, not able to block any damage, and he just gets eaten alive by the side of Steve.
A little too greedy there. He got the kill. He's feeling good about himself. He's like, I'm gonna go counter jungle. Doesn't realize that he has no presence anywhere else on the map. Another mistake coming out of St. Clair. They just got shut down gold there. Go back, clear your jungle, maybe get a back timing or something there. But forcing,
As we see the replay coming out, just DPS from the Udyr. Gonna get slowed up. Jarvan gets stunned, but nothing really.
Nothing you do.
And the replay in the bot lane here for the kill. Really well played by St. Clair, able to pull out that kill. But I believe as we cut back, yeah, there's no mid turret anymore. As we saw before we went to the replay, the Jarvan spawned that Rift Herald in the mid lane. And they're able to break open this mid turret, which means Jarvan, the Poppy, they're going to start living in the jungle of St. Clair.
Absolutely.
And we're looking for a play top lane as Bomba. We send the ultimate if we're the Gragas. We send it to Narnia, but we're going to CC the Victor.
Oh, the Ash Arrow!
Looking to turn with the Ash Arrow.
Oh my
God! As Victor is able to walk away with the kill on the Pantheon, able to turn it around with the damage. Nguyen running for his life from this TP'd in Udyr, as this is the most unfortunate scenario if you're St. Clair, as you're going to get 2 for Ode and get nothing in return, and dying in the top lane, dying in the mid lane. It's just a disaster.
There was some good, there was a good play there, catching up the Victor, but Mr. Worldwide with that arrow. Smacks the Mbessa. The fact it didn't hit the Gragas, it's probably the person that's doing the most damage. The Mbessa. Victor able to get the turn on, get the kill, get the HP back, run away, and has his team come in and bail him out. And then they're able to kill the Gragas as well, and then also win a fight mid lane.
Yeah.
Just heartbreaking on the side of St. Clair.
Chris Kyle on the Ashe, able to throw that ultimate all the way from mid lane. Gonna connect onto the Pantheon and stun him up. And really, the big difference turner in that fight, as the Victor is able to walk away alive, and Purdue picks up 3 kills on the back of it, and is able to walk away with the Dragon, as they're in beyond the driver's seat. They're in, I don't even know what they are.
I think they're already there. I think they're
Destination?
already there. They're at the destination already.
If you're St. Clair and you're down 12,000 gold at 19 and a half minutes, you're thinking to yourself, what can I possibly do? What can we get started on the map? As we see the Varus being a little bit underutilized in this match, as he's got 2 kills, but as we get a replay on this top fight, something I want to see.
Look at this.
As we see the stun coming out from both Pantheon and the Gragas, but the ultimate gonna CC the Pantheon, able to allow the Victor to get the Q off and the E off. Stuns him up long enough that Victor gets the kill. Gragas not able to kill the Victor after that because he used all of his abilities.
He has no damage.
Gets ran down by the Udyr. Really well played by the side of Purdue.
Absolutely, that's a mental buster right there. That actually, because you're like, okay, we can get the Victor here, and then all of a sudden a 2v1, it all becomes a 1v1, and then
we see a play on the mid lane here. Rick Grimes gonna look for the Ashe, goes forward with the stun as the flash coming out from Grey Gorilla with the ultimate, gonna force out the flash from the Ashe, but not able to connect the ultimate. As we see the Acadeny being taken by the side of Purdue, I believe, unbeknownst to the side of St. Clair, they don't know this is happening at all.
No, there's no vision. They can't even have vision of their own jungle. They have no idea. They are just stuck, just taking whatever waves that Purdue just forces into them. It's not much St. Clair can do. You know, maybe, I don't know, maybe an Elder Dragon steal might be the line, or our Baron steal.
I don't know if we'll make it to Elder Dragon. Baron, there's potential, but I don't even know if that's enough. As we see Codito trying to force a play out here on the Victor.
Ash arrow again!
Another Ash arrow gonna be landed!
Oh no!
As Codito gonna eat that one, eat it like some breakfast as the Victor gonna get the ultimate, put all the damage on top of him, and take him down again. This Ash is unbelievable. He's like Kobe Bryant on his last game. He's scoring 60.
Three-pointer after three-pointer. This Ashe has eyes all around the map. Eagle eye, like 2 in a row. Dude, mentally, I'm checked out after that.
He should sell his build and build CDR. He should just shoot threes. Might as well.
All day, just shoot threes.
Might as well. Oh my goodness. Well done by the side of Purdue, able to secure another kill off another crazy arrow. Really not something you see every day. Oh man, if you're the side of St. Clair, this is really just the most demotivating, most demoralizing game you could be having.
Yeah, definitely not how you want to start the season off here in the playoffs here.
As it seems, it's more of a slow bleed than anything at this point, as really St. Clair forced to just catch waves, losing all of their camps at this point. Really, there's nothing that they can do to stop this bleed from happening, as they're down 12,000 gold at this point, and it's just a matter of time, if you ask me, until they get put out of this game. See the bot lane push coming in for the side of Purdue as they're stacking up, just trying to force down these objectives as a team now, because they know they're stronger.
Absolutely.
They know they're in the driver's seat. They know that they can take these fights. As Varus ulti going to be dropped onto the Jarvan. I think St. Clair fancies this fight as Varus goes down instantly, but the Jarvan also going to be traded out for the side of St. Clair. Pantheon picks up 2 kills as the Ambessa also able to pick up a kill.
Poppy's still in the back though, but she has no
down.
damage.
Greg is able to CC the Poppy, as that's going to be a 4-for-1 for the side of St. Clair, as maybe a little bit of spark in this game coming from
Purdue
St. Clair.
gives St. Clair a lifeline there, forcing a fight there to break their base, break morale, but St. Clair able to held strong on the bottom turret, inhibitor turret there.
Yeah, really good defense coming out from St. Clair. Maybe a bit of an overforce coming from Purdue. Really trying to take more than they could take at that point.
Yeah.
Trying to bite off more than they could chew, as they are going to drop a lot of shutdown gold and honestly drop the gold over to some pretty important players.
Absolutely.
Toledo
Yeah.
able to pick up two.
I know the gold differential is still 10K, but we're getting to the point where, you know, you're getting, like, a lot of teams are now just getting their full build, and a lot of the extra gold doesn't really do anything. And St. Clair able to probably get a lot of core items finished there, and then start getting to
as you
third.
see some of these carries for both sides sitting on 2 items, 3 items, as the Udyr really is going to be the biggest problem for St. Clair, as he's got 3 items. But St. Clair, you see their carries now able to work with 2 items. They're going to probably give up this dragon, but I wouldn't be too surprised if you see them try to contest this Baron now.
Absolutely, you still, you can give up one more dragon before the Elder here. You know, it's a fight that you don't really need. You know, if they get it, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But Baron is going to be one of the bigger ones. Dragus trying to get out here, but
Should
Poppy
be able
is
to
just
walk
going to run
out.
him down. But the
Unless,
Asher-
oh my God, no way! This guy is on fire with these arrows, but Greg is able to pop that phase rush. Still
can't
trying to
get
get out
out.
of this. Jarvan going to put the ulti on him as he's not able to get out.
Somebody call the helpline.
Oh my God, and he tried to use the flash to dodge it. It's like he's got heat-seeking missiles coming out of his ultimate, but what is going on?
Does that Ash arrow miss?
I
I
don't
don't
think I've
know.
seen one miss. I don't think I've seen one miss. I don't think I've seen one miss. I'll go on record saying that I don't think I've ever seen this many Ash arrows be landed in a row from this distance.
Oh my God. And the fact that Greg is trying to flash out of it but still gets the stun, it doesn't matter.
Cinema.
Absolute cinema with the Ash arrows.
As we see Purdue forcing down the bot inhib after that pickoff, and also going to force down the mid inhib here, as that little shimmer of hope that we saw for St. Clair starting to burn out. As if you're Purdue, maybe you just turn this into a Baron right now.
Absolutely, you know, you kill a lot of their, you kill 2 of them, they're all respawning here. 2 inhibs down, you know, of course they probably want the top inhib as well, but the fact there's going to be super minions now coming to the base, they have to keep somebody back, and if St. Clair either tries to force a 5v5 dragon, they're going to lose damage, but here we go, we see a fight.
This is what you don't want to see from the side of St. Clair, walking in blind with the
Pantheon
dragon,
ult.
forcing this fight out, as Pantheon going to be forced to ult in. Also goes down with Nguyen as 2 people down for the side of St. Clair. Abessa able to clean up the Poppy on the backside of this fight,
Forest goes
but it doesn't
down.
matter because the side of St. Clair is all gonna die, and Purdue
That's
looking
game,
really
that's
strong.
game.
I believe they're gonna be able to take down this top turret and end the game here potentially. What are the death timers looking like?
30 seconds, 20 seconds.
20 seconds on
15 on
Great
Nag.
Gorilla. 15 on Nguyen. I don't know. They might try to end it here.
Yeah,
Looks
the
like they're
minions
going to
too,
go
they're
for
going
it.
for it.
Purdue knocking on the door of St. Clair's Nexus as the first Nexus turret gonna go down. If you're St. Clair here, you might have a chance. Nguyen up in time, but not able to leave the fountain in time, as that's going to be game 1 of this playoff series going to Purdue, and in dominant fashion.
Absolutely. Purdue basically was in the driver's seat for that whole game. I found there was not a lot of answers that St. Clair had, but but they're prone to make mistakes. We saw that in that fight that they thought they can basically end the game. I think 5-10 minutes earlier,
Yeah.
and St. Clair is able to held strong. But not the greatest first game that St. Clair wanted.
Yeah, definitely if you're a St. Clair fan or enthusiast, not what you want to see. There was a couple bright moments in the early game. The bot lane of St. Clair able to pick up that 2-for-1 early game, but really not able to do anything. As you see in this fight, really nothing they're able to do, as the ultimate from Mbessa gonna miss. The Jarvan able to layer with the Poppy perfectly on top of the Victor, and really St. Clair struggling to put together a good team fight all game. As look here, they both flash forward onto the Victor. Victor puts down the stun and gets both of them with it with the ultimate. And then he just walks out, doesn't use anything.
Poppy
the
comes
Jarvan
in.
also lives. The Poppy comes back. They lose 2 players and they get nothing off of this.
Yeah, this was probably where
This was
the game
bad.
started to get out of St. Clair's control, and then all of a sudden it just kind of snowballed out of
Back
control.
to this play. This is just
Oh.
Man, this is just the arrow, the nail in the coffin for Purdue.
One of the 3 nails.
Oh yeah. Unfortunate if you're St. Clair for game 1, as you know, there was some potential in the early game for that Varus, but, you know, I would have liked to seen them play the first Dragon as opposed to the Grubs because, in my opinion, I think the Dragons are much more important on this patch than the Grubs are, and they're more impactful, so I would have liked to have seen St. Clair focus on the Dragon stacking rather than shifting people up for this Grubs fight.
Yeah, especially since Varus is also probably your best.
And he was 2-0.
He was 2-0 at that time, so you might as well just play the map there.
Yeah, in this last replay, obviously not a whole lot St. Clair could do. Obviously checking
Pantheon
in blind.
comes in, he just doesn't have any damage,
Yeah.
he gets focused, and there goes Bad Rick Rhymes.
As we see the stats for this last game, if you look
Zero
at the top
deaths
lanes,
on the Udyr, that's tough.
like I mentioned in the pregame, this matchup, not one you want to see. Even for players like me, players that have played competitive for like 3-4 years, like this is something that I would just never want to see. Like this is like the ultimate counter pick. If you pick the Gragas blind, they pick the Udyr. It's like, well,
I'm done.
what can I do?
Yeah.
I'm buried.
Yeah. You know, at first he was like doing all right. Yeah, he was like losing trades, but that's kind of how the lane was. But then the TP tried to get the wave under because he stayed and then he was able to freeze it. But the Jarvan was already up there getting deep wards in their jungle and then losing the first kill onto the Udyr.
And definitely props to the side of Purdue. A relatively clean game coming out from them. And honestly, I want to give the props to Steve. Able to really excel in that top lane. Able to punish all the mistakes that were made from St. Clair. That flash being burned, the TP from Nguyen getting burned. Able to punish that early game and really snowball the game out of control for Purdue. So all around, good game for Purdue. Be interesting to see what St. Clair does coming into this game too. But for now, we're going to be sending it to a break. So don't wait too long because we will be back with game 2. And then hopefully it'll be a bit more exciting than game 1. Hopefully a bit more competitive.
More Ash arrows, maybe?
I mean, hopefully if we're on St. Clair, we're banning Ash after that. But yeah, we will be right back with another game. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to the Saints broadcast here on the desk. Still awaiting game 2 between our two teams, St. Clair Academy and Purdue, in the ECAC playoffs.
Yeah, second game. I think for St. Clair here, you kind of not, I wouldn't say like delete the game from your mind completely. Learn from your mistakes. But
Maybe
new
I would.
game, yeah, you know what?
I would.
Maybe you would. Maybe Ricky would. Ricky would. But delete the game. Fresh pace, new game. The series is not done. You're still coming to play.
Yeah, as we see the guys here on camera, Codito standing like a 7-foot pillar Herculean statue in the background as he's not even in frame.
Oh my lord.
But we see Coach Matty making an appearance. I believe that is Coach Matty going to maybe make some key substitutions for the boys here, as I believe some of these guys have gotten some personal coaching from him, as well as he's been helping the team in the past with their drafts. So it'd be interesting to see what they change coming into this draft, especially with the hand of Matty, one of the varsity players, helping them out.
Yeah, Matty, jungle varsity player, right? Coming in with a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge as well. Maybe giving Rick Grimes some tips.
Potentially, Rick Grimes sipping back that energy.
Woo!
He's thirsty after that first game. He's thirsty for some blood.
He's looking for some. He's looking for more.
Yeah, as Lane gonna be stepping away from the middle PC, as Codito gonna slide in there, as all the starting players starting to assimilate on the stage here, as they are looking a little bit locked in this time. I believe they're going to put up a bit better of a fight this game. Definitely going to come with a bit more plan for the draft, I would hope. Maybe not leave some vulnerabilities like they did in the top lane last game.
Also, maybe try a different type of play style, because it looks like they were very passive. I don't know if they were trying to not make too many try not to make mistakes, which hesitation also basically kind of cost them the game, because the Pantheon didn't really do anything. The Varus was I don't think they utilized Varus that well, and then it was just Mbessa, then there was a lot of small things that happened, right? Being shoved in early and then losing.
Be interesting to see what adjustments St. Clair makes going into this game too, as we're going to slide on over to the draft, as we see a bit of the same start coming out for
Almost
the
exact
side
same bands
of Purdue. Yeah, the Karthus and the Rumble both targeted towards those AP carries of St. Clair. The Karthus, I believe, is a ban for Rick Grimes. The Rumble
the
for
Poppy
top
ban.
lane.
That's the only difference.
Yeah, interesting that we see that Poppy ban coming out. And obviously we highlighted the Poppy, able to put together a wild string of plays there, accompanied by some crazy Ash arrows. Let's not overlook that. As Steve gonna slam the Urgot. Something Steve is really known for. Something I've seen him on solo queue for plenty of times. He's known for playing all these wonky picks like the Urgot. He plays the Udyr. He plays other weird champions, these off-meta champions. And we see the Jace for the side of Newen, something I talked about earlier. One of those hard carry champions.
Yeah, it looks like also with the Poppy ban, it looks like St. Clair, there's the Darius you also brought up as well, even though with the nerfs coming in with the patch here. But it looks like St. Clair with the Poppy ban, it looks like they just really want to play that one style of engage, aggressive type of play style here. But I don't know about the Jace and the Urgot, but then the Ivern being
The
covered
tree.
here.
No, anything but the tree.
Oh, he
thanks
switches
God.
to the Jarvan.
As we see the Jarvan going to be the eventual lock-in for the side of Purdue. I was a little worried there. That Ivern pick is very strong if utilized correctly.
Galio.
As we see the Ahri also going to be locked in for Purdue. Answered by the Galio. Not something I was really expecting from Codito.
Galio into Ahri, I think they're just trying to also match the Ahri roam maybe.
Yeah,
as well.
the pushing potential of Galio obviously is going to be able to match that Ahri to an extent. The early game is probably going to favor the Galio in the wave push, but Ahri eventually, once you get those levels in queue,
very
gonna be able
safe
to
pick
push.
as well.
Yeah, both laners opting for a more safe lane than the last game. Top lane gonna be pretty volatile, I think.
Oh yeah.
If you're Jace, you definitely want to be punishing the Urgot early game. But then again, Urgot really strong in the early game, as we see a couple bans coming out for both sides. The Corki and the Gwen for St. Clair, and then two mid bans for Purdue. The Aurora and the Hui going to be targeting that top lane and mid lane pool, I guess.
This is just gonna be just a brawl here. Like, look at these team comps here. Nautilus, Ash, you know, that's a very strong combo. As well, the MF and Rel here is just going to be supports on top of each other and see who comes out on top.
Yeah, interesting to see this bot lane combination coming out in pair with the Galio. Usually you would pair the Galio with more of a hyper carry type champion. Like MF, yeah, she could carry, but you know, it's not something you would typically combine with the Galio. You would want to see something more like the Aphelios, the Jinx, like these type of champions that can really pop off in a team fight and just kill after kill after kill. Whereas the MF, you know, sure it's immobile, but what's the Galio really gonna stack for the MF? It's not really gonna combine too well.
I know there was a combo between, I know it was like Jarvan Galio combos back in the day. You think that was kind of where they were going for? Maybe just take that pick away from them?
Maybe, potentially. I mean, something you would see in recent pro play, like as far back as like 3 years, maybe 4 years in the past even, would be the Camille Galio. The Camille ult obviously pairing very well with Galio, but not going to be opted towards for St. Clair, as they're going to end up with the MF, the Rel, and really an interesting draft coming out for both teams here, as we see the Ashe, the terror pick, coming out for the side of Purdue, as St. Clair going to have to check their rear views, as these Ashe arrows are going to be flying from literally Nantucket to their lane.
It will always land. It's inevitable.
It's unbelievable how many of those landed, even though people flashed, even though they moved, even though, you know, all the circumstances were against them landing.
Dashes and everything from the Impesa, and
yeah,
still able to get them. Unreal.
As we see, Rick Grimes going to be sipping the juice, really getting primed up for this match, as he's going to have a little bit of the heavy lifting on this Darius pick, I'd say.
Yeah.
As this champion going to be pretty efficient in the team fights, as we got 3 melee champions or low-range champions for the side of Purdue. So if he's able to get those stacks and those resets, I think he's going to be able to do some damage.
We might see the Dunk Master here.
Potentially. Potentially.
Oh. What do you think here, St. Clair? Who do you think wins the draft here? What do you think? Who has to slide out?
I mean, I want to give this to Purdue, if I'm being honest. If I look at both drafts, I would want to be playing the team comp that Purdue has. If it were me in the game.
It's a lot safer comp
Not
here.
only safer, but they have more pick potential. They have more... Really, the only thing that St. Clair has going for them is if they could set up the Darius reset, they have a pretty good way to team fight. But other than that, like, they don't have much side lane potential. I believe the Jace won't be able to match the Urgot eventually. And I believe the Jarvan is going to be able to punish this MF in the bot lane. Whereas the Darius is going to have trouble getting in range of this Ashe early game, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
All around, I would say St. Clair, overall, not the worst draft, but at the same time, I would say there's been some lapses in their draft. Like,
I do see some of the combos that they can do, you know, with the Galio getting on top of people with the taunt. They have the Rel combo, you know, and then gives at least some time for St. Clair to maybe get some picks, or maybe even like just get the picks early in the fight and then be able to snowball the fight that way as well.
yeah, they have a little bit of pick potential, but really, honestly, I'd say Purdue has the pick potential. They have the Ashe, they have the Nautilus, and the Ahri, really. The Ahri's a sleeper pick potential. Like, you could just ult in, throw a charm down, and then all of your team can follow up on that. And the Jarvan is really not the best pick potential, but, you know, it's good follow-up.
Oh, absolutely. It also with Purdue as well. Like, they have a lot of tools in their kits there to not also engage, but also re-engage into, or at least stop what St. Clair wants to do and or how they want to fight. Because, you know, one Nautilus are if they're all grouped up, that's a whole knock-up, and then Jarvan with another knock-up, Ashe arrow, Ahri charm, right? It can stop a lot of the combos that St. Clair can, or that's how they want, like St. Clair wants to play and try to, you know, get a pick or something like that, or in team fights.
Yeah, St. Clair going to have a tough time navigating this team fighting. I think really what they're going to have trouble with this game is getting the tempo to push out their sides and then have like an even numbered fight. I think that the efficiency of the solo lanes of Purdue is going to really be the difference maker here in the mid game. And if St. Clair really wants a chance of winning this game, I think they're going to have to take a lead early in this game. As we're going to be getting straight into game here, as we have Purdue grouping as 5, running up into this top side, as St. Clair going to opt into that passive strategy of a 5-point.
Chase.
Yeah, as they're looking, they're on the hunt here.
Oh no.
They're going to walk through this top bush, get the flag down for Vision in the top bush, as they are going to sniff out Nguyen here in this top lane, as he is not sitting in the tri-bush. Wise from Nguyen
He
here.
sees it. He sees it. He sees
As
it.
he's going to be able to walk away from this Nautilus unscathed as he sees all 5 of them coming in. Really wise move from Nguyen there, stepping out of the tri-bush, as if he was sitting in there, he would have been cooked.
Absolutely. There, you know, there could have been a
Oh,
Nautilus.
no.
Oh, no.
Oh,
no. DJ Muscle Boy is here. Oh my god, that is not what St. Clair wants, especially on the Jace. Kill goes onto the Jarvan. It looked good, it looked fine, but I think he got a little too confident in going into that bush.
If I'm being honest, it did not look good. It did not look fun. Nguyen, you are a griefer. What are we doing? You know all 5 are top lane. All you have to do is wait for your wave, my brother. It's fine, though. It is only the first minute. Although that kill on the Jarvan is going to speed up his clear on the second rotation, he's not going to be able to get a recall off and spend that gold. Steve here
coming
is
out.
looking to use this level 1 advantage that the Urgot has built in, as I'm sure he's leveled that E, and he's primed and ready to flip Nguyen back into the wave
it's
as he gets
tragedy.
3 passives off. Nguyen going to have to use that flash here, or he's going to go down for a second time. Able to get away, but at what cost? Is he's going to burn all his health potions, and he has no resources in this lane left. Aside from that,
He's back.
looks like he's going to be forced into recalling, as you said.
St. Clair at least able to get the level 2 advantage in the bot lane, able to put some of their presence here. Rel trying to look for any fight here, but you gotta be careful. That Nautilus could pull you into tower range here, and that could lead to a disaster in the bot lane. But it looks like they're just gonna go off and try to get some boards early on.
Yeah, nice to see St. Clair's bot side taking a bit more of a more aggressive approach to these lanes early game, as just a bit of farming happening in the other lanes, but as you see, really, this lead's starting to build in the top side, as both summoners are going to be burned for Nguyen without really anything happening thus far in the game. Steve able to punish really well with that Urgot level 1.
Absolutely. You know, that is probably exactly how Purdue wanted that level 1 invade to go, and then also how they want the lane to go here, you know. But Nautilus able to get the hook in, but doesn't get anything else from it. Gets some chip damage, but the shields, I don't think he has the shield yet. No, he has the able to take a little health damage, just gonna heal up again. Looks like Purdue's just gonna shove the wave, but he gets the hook back on. Oh no, we're not watching it. But it looks like it's fine.
Disengage though,
Yeah.
no issues. As we see Darius in the top lane, gonna try and sniff out a gank. Not able to get that angle off yet, but gonna take this Scuttle Crab. Already a better start for the side of St. Clair's jungle, able to get the first Scuttle. You know, last game we got double Scuttled, so step in the right direction here.
He's looking.
Yeah, he's looking mid lane. It looks like, is there going to be a 2v2 in the mid lane coming up here, as Jarvan going to be looking towards the side of Codito, but he's going to be able to sidestep that and drop down the taunt onto the Jarvan. Interesting to see if the Darius looks to fight here.
Looks like he's just gonna stay.
Personally, me, if I'm on the Darius, I'm Q flashing there.
You're doing
I
something.
Q flash, I put the W down on the Jarvan,
Throw
and
that
I'm
E out.
walking him down. Walk him down.
Walk him down.
You know that one? You know that
my
one?
I don't know that one.
Anyways, the flash gonna be used, but you know, not the worst. You know, both junglers off to a pretty passive start. The Jarvan maybe looking for a sneak gank on the bot lane here, as the hook's gonna land for the side of
they're gonna
Purdue's
focus on
bot
the
lane.
Ashe.
The re-engage coming out for St. Clair, but the Jarvan's here, as so is the Ahri, as the side of St. Clair's bot lane thought they could turn it around off the Rel, but after the flash from Ashe, they're really just sitting in a bad position, and the flash from Rel comes out, but it's not enough for her to get away. As you see the dodge coming out from the Ashe, and here comes the flash. Flashes directly into the Jarvan EQ. Gonna get knocked up and go down for another kill for Purdue.
Very good rotation out of Purdue there, having 4 there. Jarvan able to get the kill as well. But yeah, you know, not the great start for St. Clair, but it's not the end of the world. Jason looks like he's able to stabilize here, you know, able to force Urgot out. Yes, Urgot does have the pickaxe over those 2 swords here, as I might have cast her curse, but Jace does have the range advantage as well, able to poke out the Urgot. That might be his way to win that lane and hopefully become a side lane carry. for St. Clair later in the match here. But yeah, bot lane, not exactly how they want to go, getting the 4-man invaded there. But Galio coming in, Charm's coming in, but the taunts coming in. Rel just not close enough to get anything done. Nautilus showing up. Oh, but a fight coming up in the top lane.
Top lane, yeah.
Oh,
but
no.
Steve gonna get that crushing ultimate down
With
onto the
Darius.
side of Newen. But Bad Rick Grimes, he's had enough of this crab goddess. He's gonna flash forward, get the 5-stack on him, and take him down.
At least get a 1-for-1 there, you know. Get at least a kill going, get something going. But Purdue's now going to answer with the Dragon here after seeing Darius top. Darius then going to, I think, also go for Krugs as well here. But yes, it's unfortunate. Jace was just low enough and then gets hit by the Urgot ultimate, which equals to an execute. But at least Darius does have that damage to run down the Urgot.
Yeah, able to trade that one back as we see the jungle for Purdue gonna pick up this Dragon on the bot side of the map, but gonna be traded on the other side of the map by St. Clair as we see Rick Grimes gonna be on those Grubulars, as that's gonna be 3 grubs going down and potentially a regang top here if Steve gets a little bit over antsy in this lane.
St. Clair, I think, really has. I think, honestly, maybe trying to like stabilize the top lane. I think bot lane. I don't want to say that they are beyond repair. I don't want to say that, but I think they probably get more bang for their buck if their Jace is able to get some more items, get some XP.
Yeah,
presence top
you
lane.
don't want to see the Jace falling behind early because eventually Urgot's gonna outscale Jace, and like Jace is pretty good late game, like damage wise, but in the side lane, Urgot's always gonna beat him. So. Definitely you don't want to see this early game going the way it has. As we see the engage coming out from the side of St. Clair's bot lane onto the Ashe, but they don't really want this fight as Ashe is going to turn with the ultimate.
Nautilus
they know
the
Nautilus is coming from the rear as he's going to look to snare up the Rel as the Rel's going to go down. Vincenzo going to fall here after that, I would say, mistimed engage. Maybe they weren't on the same page. I don't know why they didn't just fight them there.
Yeah, like it's just Ashe by herself there. You got the stun off. They were so scared, maybe because they saw the jungler somewhere. They thought maybe Jarvan was nearby, and I think there was just maybe, yeah, like you said, a lapse of communication here. But honestly, I think you might as well just go for the 2-for-1 there, worst case scenario.
Yeah, and if you guys did not miss it in the bottom of the screen there, the flash for the side of Newen gonna be burned by the Jarvan ultimate as he walked top lane during that bot play replay, and he used his ultimate to burn the flash of the Jace.
Another thing is, so nothing's really happening in the mid lane here. You know, Galio, Arya lanes, one clears out the wave. They both kind of follow each other. You know, nothing really happens here. It's all the action's coming here from the bottom and the top lane, and then also in the jungle.
Yeah, you know what I'd like to see off this mid wave? I'd like to see Codito hard shove this mid wave and just walk top and tell Newen, you know what, Newen? You have no flash. You're down a kill. You're down CS. Just fight him. I'm going to ult you, and let's try to get this kill onto Steve because... Really, we need you to be in this game a little bit more than you are right now. So, it'd be nice to see Codito use this push that he's had in this mid lane to make something happen on the map.
He do have his ultimate now. Well, technically had it for 2 levels, but I don't think he's been in a spot to where he could use it due to him probably being forced in by the Ahri with the wave.
I think this Galio should be able to push in these waves. Like, at these early levels, he should have the prio on this Ahri, so... I mean, I don't know what he's been doing with it, but like right here, for example, I'd like to see him walk top here and cover Newen's TP. As you see, Newen is TPing into the top lane, potentially going to be fighting this Urgot. As we see, not really, yeah, here comes the fight, but like I mentioned, Galio going to push the wave and just not really do anything with the push. And big trade coming in for Newen as he's going to chunk out the Urgot. Be nice to see him.
He's doing good. He's doing good now. He's stabilized.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see him gatekeep the Urgot from recalling here. If he's able to keep this Urgot in lane.
Oh, he stopped it.
Yeah, but we see this Ahri starting to move up. Hopefully Cody.
The Ashe arrow.
Oh no, we're having flashbacks. Thanks God. But the Ahri gonna rotate back.
They're
to
gonna
the
go
mid lane
punish. They know the Urgot's getting pinned. Look at this. There's 3. Oh, sorry, 2. Like support also war roaming up to the top side here.
Yeah, they want to bail out this Urgot as the
the
Jarvan.
TP,
He's got the ultimate. He knows the Jace has no flash from the last time he came. As the ultimate gonna be hit by the Urgot, and he's gonna pull in Newen into the shredder as Urgot gonna pick up his 2nd kill And there's nothing but plates left on the map, and the grubs are spawning.
There's no other option. You know, it looks like they're going to try to tower dive the Ash here.
Yeah, turret dive coming in potentially.
Yeah, that's the only option they have on the map for a response at least. But
it looks like this turret dive's not going to go down as they force out the teleport from the Ahri. But potentially, they're still looking for this
they're
play.
Looking for it.
As
they're
the Galio should be walking forward here. Here comes the ultimate from the Galio on top of the Rel. Ahri going to be able to flash and ultimate out.
No.
Nobody going down for the side of Purdue as the Galio needs to get out.
Galio's out.
He lives with 1 HP as the dunk comes in from Rick Grimes, able to pick up the Ash kill, but only 1 kill traded for the side of St. Clair. Still not the best if you're St. Clair. Gonna lose the grubs, gonna lose a little bit of platings on top lane. Able to trade back a kill, a little bit of wave management, but Purdue, I'd say, still coming out on top in this game so thus far.
Absolutely there. You know, it's unfortunate they couldn't get the Ahri. Ahri is a very slippery champ with that ultimate, able to just dash out of any trouble with the flash as well. It's just unfortunate for St. Clair, but at least they get 1 for all those ults burned.
And you talk about slippery. If you look at the builds now, look at the Darius items. He's got those Swifty boots as we see a flash from Steve. Steve gonna throw down the ultimate
and there he goes.
Eat up Nguyen in the top lane as he throws down the one-shot combo. Nothing that Nguyen can do to avoid that as he one-shots him from full HP, takes him down, and now is gonna eat that whole top.
St. Clair trying to maybe respond with a fast Drake, but I think they realize that they don't have the numbers. Actually, I think they're going to go.
It's a 4v4 fight. This is a fight they could take if they wanted to take it.
They're giving.
But it looks like this is not a fight they want. Really surprising from the side of St. Clair backing up on this fight. I believe they have the advantage in this fight as they have
a 4v4.
Yeah, and the Ahri has no ultimate. Though
no
TP
on Urgot as well.
No ultimates for the side of St. Clair. Perhaps that's why they're opting to not take this fight.
It's not the end of the world though. You know, only 2 Drakes going down. You know. But it's kind of unfortunate now. Jace now 3 kills behind, 20 CS. Not exactly what you want out of your
as
carry.
we see another fight in the top lane. Nguyen getting taken down really low as he's able to pop the phase rush, able to walk out this time as the Urgot does not have the ultimate.
But the Ahri's
ulting into him as she's able to use all those charges and catch up to him and bring him down for the 5th time this game.
Not exact. This is just another. I wouldn't say an exact copy of last game, but it's just a lot of the same mistakes. Top lane just not getting it done. It looks like.
Yeah, the experience factor from Steve really starting to show in these games as he's starting to walk away with these leads that he's built. As we see the Rel gonna go for the Hex Splash play onto the Ash, stun her up with the CC.
The kill.
And also gonna drop the IMF ulti on top of her.
The slow comes out though.
That's gonna be a kill for St. Clair.
The stun comes out. I don't think MF has the damage, sadly. But the hook comes back in. But at least that's something on the bot side of St. Clair. A kill on the MF. Hopefully that will get her into her next second item. At least completes her boots here and also get some prio. Darius sitting there just in case of the Jarvan come by to clean up. But
look at this combo coming out from Steve.
What can he do?
E-flash into 3 passive procs. And you notice when he E-flashes, he throws the ultimate backwards instantly. And by doing that, it makes it impossible to dodge.
Really good stun combo there of the Rel with the Hex Flash to get into that bush where they had no vision on. Able to jump the Ash. The ult comes out right when that stun hits, so MF was able to get the full ultimate off onto the Ash, killing her before the Nautilus was able to react with his hook of his own to stop it.
Yeah, definitely some good coordination coming out from the bot side of St. Clair as we see potentially a play being made towards Rick Grimes here as the Ahri and the Urgot are lurking towards him. But they're a little too late as Rick Grimes is going to take that buff and walk out like a pimp.
Doesn't care. MF trying to clear the wave, trying to stop as much turret damage as he can. But looks like a little fight in the jungle. And again.
No, Nguyen going to be able to flash away after proccing that phase rush, though. And it looks like he's going to get away. As the Jarvan flashes forward, potentially he didn't know that
there's no one there, though.
That the Galio was there. And the Ahri going to be able to whittle down the Jace eventually. But St. Clair able to trade a 1-for-1 as we see a fight on the bot side. Going to go the way of St. Clair as well. Unfortunately, though, the Rel going to pick up that kill in the bot lane as opposed to one of the more important players.
Unfortunate, but at least St. Clair getting a 1-for-1 in the mid lane and then winning a fight in the on the bot lane there. At least they're getting some back. You know, it's only the gold differential is not that bad. You know, it's only 3K, only 4 kills behind or 3 kills behind there. St. Clair does have a chance here if Purdue keeps forcing these bad trades here.
Yeah, great taunt coming out from the side of Codito as he's able to lock up all 3 members of Purdue as they dive onto Jace and shut that play down before it even starts.
Really good stuff out of St. Clair. Hopefully, gets gets their items reset. Hopefully, probably pressure around either the Baron, not the Baron here, the next Dragon.
St. Clair looks like they're trying to make a play
The
onto
taunt.
the side of Steve here, but they got to be careful. This Urgot is doing a lot of damage right now. Potentially, he's going to look to turn it around here if
The
they force
Yobu's
too
on
hard.
the Darius. Darius does have the anti.
Oh, St. Clair wants this play as they both flash forward onto the Urgot.
Oh, but
Urgot
it's
gonna
not
walk out
enough.
alive though. No ultimates landed, but the Jarvan is here. The Urgot ultimate has landed, and guess what? That's a triple fear after a triple knock up from the Jarvan, and Purdue gonna walk away with a 3-0 in the bot side as this Urgot is really starting to become a problem.
It looks like Darius there from Rick Grimes did not have the damage he thought he did with that ultimate there. Doesn't get the execute. Look how little damage his ultimate does. I don't know if he's trying to do that just for a gap close or something. Try to get the extra damage. It looks like he doesn't get that shield also. I think it's also the shield from the Urgot coming out there as well.
Just not the best layering either, as the flash coming out from Codito gonna start this CC layer on the Urgot, but not gonna be followed up by damage from the Darius. Instead, the Darius opts to pull him. Well, he CC'd, and as you see, not able to get those stacks up, and the Urgot able to walk out unscathed. And
if he gets that execute, I think that fight's a whole different thing.
oh, for sure, St. Clair would win that fight, but unfortunately not able to get that execute as 3 people go down in return for Purdue. As we see potentially this 3rd drag fight being set up by both teams, as St. Clair gonna look to defend their vision, but really, what can you defend?
There's
This
no
Urgot.
ults. There's no ults on.
Look at this Urgot's items. He's got Sterax. He's got Black Cleaver. This Urgot he's mowing teams down. You have to be careful walking into this champion. As we see the Rift Herald gonna be dropped by the side of Purdue. If you're St. Clair, you got to decide
They didn't
right
even get
now.
the blue. They didn't even get the blue.
They're losing everything. You got to decide what you can cut, what you can take, as they're deciding. Should we take the Herald? Should we fight the Dragon? As they have an unnumbered fight here. The Rel gonna get engaged on here, I believe, as the Nautilus ult comes out.
She
One
goes
shot the
down.
Rel, as the Ash Arrow also gonna land on the Darius. The Darius goes down, and St. Clair running for the hills again, as this 3rd Dragon gonna be secured by Purdue.
The one thing about St. Clair here, I don't know if Ocean Drake is still the worst Soul Drake in the game still, but that might be a way that be like, listen, you can give them Soul, but it's not the end of the world. They can play for the Elder Drake and try to find picks and at least picks on the Ari or the Urgot. If they get the Urgot, get that shutdown gold on somebody like the MF or the Jace or even the Darius there, hopefully be able to snowball into something into a good fight, or at least to a 3rd item, and maybe turn something around here, because other than that, I don't know what else St. Clair can do.
And really good job from Purdue on that last fight, forcing St. Clair to make a decision between defending their mid lane and answering this Dragon. Ends up forcing Vincenzo into the wrong spot, and he gets engaged on, blown up instantly, and it's a clean 2 for 0 for the side of Purdue. They get the Dragon, and they're able to reset with really no damage taken on their side of the map.
That Urgot is huge.
Yeah, this Urgot is a menace at this time. There's really nothing that St. Clair can do about this guy in the side lane but overload and try to take him out. Like, they need to send at least 3. And even if they send 3, I don't think they're going to get away unscathed.
Yeah, it's either going to be like a 1-for-1, and then maybe also like the roams from the Ari, or God forbid another Ash Arrow.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we've seen them before. We might see them again. Hopefully not if you're a St. Clair fan, but these Ash Arrows have been directly impacting these games. So we see this Urgot sitting on 3 items almost, as the Ash Arrow, speak it into existence, comes down onto the support of St. Clair, as Vincenzo gonna go down again, as Purdue gonna take all the vision in the side of St. Clair's bot side and look for this bot lane tier 2.
I can't wait for St. Clair to now permaban Ash for every game now until the end of time.
Yeah, this Ash champion really starting to put a knife in the side of St. Clair, as their plans are starting to fall apart, as this Acadeny going to be started up by the side of Purdue. St. Clair, where are you? What is your answer? This is a big objective to just give away.
There's no one there, no one around. Looks like they have to give.
Yeah, St. Clair gonna give this one up as well, as that gold lead was about even 4 minutes, 5 minutes
like
ago.
3,000.
It was even. It was even 4 minutes ago, but now it's exploded into over 5,000, and St. Clair on the hindsight of that 5,000 gold. Again, St. Clair from behind. Much of what we saw in the last game, gonna have to be a different story if they want to continue their playoff run.
Absolutely. They have to find something. They have to find a line. They have to find a pick. Purdue also has to make a mistake as well, and they are playing very safe right now. They're not giving anything.
Yeah, if I'm St. Clair, I want to make a team fight happen with this MF. She's level 11. She's got 2 items. If there's ever going to be a fight to win, it's going to be off the back of this misfortune.
Absolutely here. Also with the collector on MF, if they get low, hopefully get those executes as well.
Yeah, in the Urgot lane, we just, these 3 full items. I mean, Nguyen's got 2, but he can't do anything in this lane. He has to just catch the waves, and really, if Steve lets him. Steve is so powerful in this game, as you see him in the side lane. St. Clair's only option here is to force on the other side of the map. But what can you do? There are no objectives left.
They're just fighting for vision. That's all
Yeah.
they're doing.
As Steve's going to pick up even more gold into his pockets as these side lane turrets. They're worth a ton of gold, 700 gold going into his pockets. He's a rich man, rich millionaire.
Running to the bank with that one. But yeah, no. What does St. Clair have? What's their line? What they can do? The Jace isn't online. The Darius isn't. You know, he had a good start there, but after that fight in the bot lane there, it just kind of flipped the world upside down on him.
And I want to say the scaling for the side of St. Clair is not really what you want from this team comp. It's more of an early game, mid game focused comp. So it's going to be really hard for St. Clair to turn the tides of this game. They're going to have to come up with some crazy answers here.
Absolutely here. And also with your mid laner, like, Galio isn't that type of mid laner that's going to carry you. He's more of a support type of champion there. You know, support tank with the Sun and CC. But here we go, a little fight going on here. Jarvan jumping. Galio at least coming out. That's the first time I've seen that. It doesn't knock anybody up. The Sun's coming up.
has to be careful here as the Urgot's getting that ultimate down.
Oh,
Fear's
no.
off. The Rel goes down. The Galio's in too far. 3 people down for the side of St. Clair. In the blink of an eye as the Urgot just rips the back line of St. Clair apart. There's really nothing you can do when this Urgot's around. If you're St. Clair, you have to force a fight on the other side. But if Purdue decides to group, what can you do? You just lose.
What an unfortunate fight. Like, no, like, what's that? Was it 4-0? Or, sorry, 3-0 there. St. Clair couldn't even get 1 there. Just Jarvan comes in there. The Galio ult responds. Doesn't get anybody. They back up. They then re-engage after the Galio ult. And there's just nothing they can do.
Yeah, a bit of an overcommitment from the Jarvan. But then St. Clair also overcommitting off the flash of the Jarvan. Not able to pick up any kills off of it and really putting themselves in a bad position.
And that's
the
going to
Urgot,
lead to his Ocean Soul.
Yeah, and this is another uncontestable objective, as it's been one objective going to the side of St. Clair all game, and every other objective has gone to the side of Purdue. Purdue really putting on a bit of a clinic here in this series, I would say, as they're up another 10,000 gold in this game, in the driver's seat again.
Looking to run with it.
And looking to end this game.
Now it's just waiting for, I think it's going to come down to that Baron fight here. You know, they're going to force a lot of the inhibs, split push a bit, shove some waves in, and then try to force another fight in St. Clair's jungle with all the vision and the prio they have.
And you know, with 45 seconds left to this Baron, St. Clair's going to have to make something happen on this Urgot. They're going to have to force a play somewhere, as this Urgot's going to push up forward. Potentially St. Clair going to have to look for this. I think they have to. If they're going to make any stand in this game, they have to get a kill here. As the Urgot is so strong. Look at him. He's walking down 3 members of St. Clair right now, all on his lonesome. As the Darius going to pull him in. They're looking to kill this Urgot. They need to get him down now. But Urgot able to get that ultimate off as 2 people on St. Clair go down instantly again as Urgot the Chainsaw Massacre has begun.
There's no damage.
The flash from Nguyen is not enough as he gets hooked in by the Nautilus. The ultimate gets dropped on him, as that is going to be potentially game 2 going to Purdue as St. Clair gets aced 5-0.
And the game is going to end at 25-20 around there. Another pretty fast game, but like it was just the small things, right? Like St. Clair, like it was back and forth early, and then all of a sudden Purdue's just able to just run away with it.
And wow, what run away with it they did. Shout out to the Boilermakers. They really put on a crazy performance today. That was 2 great games out of Purdue.
Absolutely, like you saw, like just the dominance with the rotations, the responses, the top lane. Unfortunate, but
Steve, you mean guy.
give him at least one good game.
Props
Come
to
on.
Steve. Steve showed out today. He did really more than was asked of him. Able to really stomp the top lane in both matchups. The first matchup, obviously we talked about it, not the best matchup for the side of Newen. And then the second game, really just an unfortunate scenario. I mean, you said unfortunate. I also said not unfortunate. Because what are we doing?
What are we doing?
Why did we walk back up? We saw that they were there. We could have walked away. We could have waited for the wave, but we died anyways. And then
The Ash Arrows.
and then the level 1 is more just like a lack of thought. Like you're out of your own mind
Yeah.
space after dying like that. You're like,
He then comes back to lane. Urgot has the E, plays in the bush. He can't get his wave going. He can't put on the pressure he wants to at least.
loses both those summoners.
Yeah, loses both summoners, loses Prio in the lane. We saw him come back a little bit, able to poke out the Urgot there, here and there. But then all of a sudden, just getting caught from ganks, and then either trying to overextending some scrims there, and it's just kind of led, just snowballed the Urgot to a place where St. Clair needed 3 players to take him down minimum.
Yeah, as we see the stat lines coming back from this
Oh.
game, as we see the 11 kills, 1 death, and 7 assists coming out from Steve. Another great performance from him, and really great performance from everyone on the side of Purdue, as they were able to not only sustain after losing the bot lane, like both games, they sort of took a little bit of damage early, and then they were able to work together and, stabilize the bot lane, while Steve was just rampant. He was just all over the place.
Steve was able to play the game he wanted to play, be as dominant as he wanted to be, and then just win the game out through top that way.
And honestly, shout out to the boys at St. Clair, the Academy team. Obviously not the ending that they wanted, but, stuff happens. Not going to play the best every day, every game that you play.
They're also against a very good team as well.
Yeah,
Very good team.
Purdue is a team that I believe has taken games off our varsity team in the past. Not positive, but I'm pretty sure they have. So not surprising that St. Clair ended up losing today, but obviously you would have liked to have seen maybe more from
Well,
St.
at least
Clair.
take a map off. Right?
Yeah, or a map, or even just more competition. But, all said and done, it was really a great showing this year in the ECAC for St. Clair Academy.
5-2 in the regular season.
Yeah,
you know.
able to make it into the playoffs, but what can you do when you run into a Purdue, As we're going to send it over to the stage right now to get thoughts from the coach of St. Clair's Academy team and Mr. Chambers himself, as we got an interview from the stage.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm joined with the head coach of St. Clair Academy, Parka. Man, it wasn't the result we wanted, but at the end of the day, you guys fought long and hard. I'm a little bit curious. Tell me, what was kind of the gaps that you started to realize your team was running into versus this Purdue lineup early on?
They just don't make very many mistakes, and when they do, they cover them up very well. For us, we knew that we were going to be tough against this team. They're just on paper a stronger team. They play against a lot of stronger teams than us on a regular basis. We're kind of punching up here. But yeah, they just don't make very many mistakes, and if we don't capitalize on those mistakes, then we get punished for it even harder, right? So it just the way a game goes sometimes.
Yeah, you know what? Despite being in the face of defeat, I know I see you guys behind here. It's been kind of all smiles, laughing, joking around, which is good to hear from the team. Is that just something that you've kind of ingrained in them mentally? Is just to not chalk and get mad or tilt, and as long as you guys do that, no matter what, even if the series doesn't go the way of, you guys can still bond together as a team afterwards?
Yeah, for the most part, like obviously we've had a very successful semester so far, but like even when we have bad games or things don't go well, like the vibes are immaculate. Like this team's so awesome. Like I love these guys to death. And going in, we knew like we were underdogs. We knew like this match wasn't like the most important to us. We have like a fairly new bot lane pairing, so it's just more about getting them reps together. Because our important match is tomorrow. Like today, like this match, we knew we were in tough. It was going to be pretty rough on us. So I think like knowing that, it makes it also a lot easier to just like accept the loss and move on to it or from it.
Absolutely. And I mean, last thing I got to ask, right? Coming off of a loss, especially in playoffs, you know, sometimes you got to celebrate the season a little bit. You guys going to be getting anything nice for dinner just to kind of close it off, or are you guys locked in for tomorrow's big matchup?
I think once we win tomorrow, that'll be more the cause for celebration. Earn an extra life in CLOL, qualify for a national bracket. Like I think that's the more celebratory one for us.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Parker. You can go join your team now if you'd like. Guys, thank you all for watching tonight. It was an amazing stream. Thank you, obviously, Parker and your team for competing at one of the highest levels you can in collegiate. And thank you to the viewers. Thank you to the casters as well. Everyone in the back room for putting on a great show. Thank you to our sponsors, Alienware, Tim Hortons, Subway, the SRC, and the SEC Alumni Association. And before we end stream tonight, I just want to say tomorrow there is a big event happening here at the Nexus on March 29th. No Man's Land. Everybody, doors open at 10 a.m., $10 admission fee as well. Show up, show out. We have over 140 plus registrations already for tournaments. So please show up. It's going to be a great day, and you will definitely be seeing some of me tomorrow casting in some of those tournaments. We have Valorant, PUBG Mobile, we also have Marvel Rivals, and at the same time, we also have Smash happening as well as some side events like, for example, Time Trials, AIM Labs as well, 1v1 Valorant Station. So there's a lot of stuff to do, raffles as well, free tickets that you can earn by playing in those events, and also vendors as well. So guys, come down. It's going to be a blast, and that's where we're going to leave it. So thank you so much, Saints Nation, and hopefully we see you tomorrow at No Man's Land.